How's everybody doing this morning? Are we awake yet? Because I can tell you, I'm not awake. I'm not used to getting up till about 10 o'clock. So I'm going to ask you to bear with me. I have a hard time keeping track of my words and stuff, so I use notes. I like to start off from consider myself a jack of all trades and a master of none. I lived in a lot of places. And I've been a lot of things, from a ticket counter agent at an airline, to a car salesman, to a 911 dispatcher, to a journalist. Most that are speaking today came to tell you about one life-changing event in their own life where they lost someone they loved more than the world itself. And I guess in hopes to reach some of you, to make you realize that life choices have serious consequences. And while that's all very true, every choice we make has a consequence. But I think that some of it is missing a link when we talk to you guys. And I think that's because our stories are personal and they affected us. And we can tell you guys about them, but unless it happens to you, there's a link missing. You're not quite getting it. So to start things off, how many here have something in their life that they either want to be, something or someone they cherish more than anything? How many of you have pictured their future, no matter how far out? You've got something very special you want to be and you've pictured it. Everybody that has got this, raise their hands. Yep, pretty much everybody, right? Okay, so during my talk, I want you guys to keep that in the back of your mind. I want you to think the whole time that I'm talking, who that person is or what that thing is that means everything to you. Whether it's you're going to be a guitar player, in a rock star when you're older, or you want to be a doctor, or it's your friend, or it's your boyfriend, or whatever it is, keep it in your mind while I'm talking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to present you some of my life experiences. And during these stories, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to ask you to look for some patterns. So we're going to settle down, we're going to have story time. So everybody's listening, right? We'll be in kindergarten, got listening ears on, everybody's eyes focused on me. So in 1993, I was a freshman at Darragh High School. How many know where Darragh is? Some of you, yeah. It's up in Dixfield, RSU 10. Like most teenagers, a lot of my friends decided to attend a party one night. A group of about 5 of my friends went. Everyone drank. But my one friend, Julie, she had one beer. That was it. So the safe decision that they made was that she was going to be the driver. She was going to drive them to where they were going to spend the night so they wouldn't get in trouble. Because she was considered sober. The only issue was Julie had never driven a vehicle. Can anyone guess what happened? Anybody? Shout it out. What do you think happened? Car wreck. Yep. That's exactly what happened. There was an accident, and we buried my friend Julie about 3 days later. Wasn't an instant death. Julie suffered for a while. Some of my friends that were passengers in the vehicle got out, held her hand. She tried talking. Nothing came out except blood. It was hard for them. It was a hard realization that they sat and watched their best friend die right in front of them. Now, how many of you, by raising your hand, think that accident affected those involved enough so that they never drank and drove again, or they were never involved in an accident with alcohol? Raise your hands if you think that they completely stone cold, just never ever did anything again. You? Well, I can tell you that many of them have since gotten DUIs. Many of them have been involved in alcohol and drug-related accidents. Now we're going to fast forward a few years to 2004. I graduated and I moved to the great state of Alaska and was working as a 911 dispatcher for the Alaska State Troopers. That picture is actually of my husband in the dark blue. If you watch the Nat Geo channel, you've probably seen him a few times. Him and I both worked quite a long time up there, took quite a few fatality calls. He's done quite a few accident calls himself. He now works for the Auburn Police Department. The first month on the job, I took about 6 fatality accidents. A few of them I talked through people to do CPR and life-saving procedures as they pleaded with God not to take their loved ones. I tell you, it's a tough job, and it's pretty scary to sit on a phone and listen to someone scream at their husband, scream at their daughter while I'm saying you need to do 30 fast compressions on their chest. And talking them through that as they're crying and screaming, please God, don't do this to me, please don't die. There's a lot of other things that go into the job, but it's pretty hard to do. So I have another question. How many here think that those calls alone would be enough to make me make good choices, like not speeding or not getting distracted? I've been through a lot so far from the stuff that I told you. How many think that I would almost definitely be above the measure, not text and drive, not speed, not do anything that would cause my life to be in harm? Yep. Guess what? Nope. Life keeps moving forward. I got speeding tickets. Would answer my cell phone when I called, didn't think twice about it. So life keeps moving forward. In 2011, I moved back to Maine and was a journalist for the Lewiston Sun-Journal. My dream job. Reporting is an exciting career. I got to travel every day. I got to go to exciting events. This is me at Sunday River. I got to cover how we made snow. I spent the whole night on the mountain. I got to slide down on the mountain. It was fun. It was a great career. We also reported on a lot of local tragedies. In the month of October 2011, I covered the death of 3 students, all in separate accidents, all involving poor choices. How many of you know about Danny Ranger and Dixfield and know about this accident? Anybody play field hockey? Some of them might know. Danny was an amazing, bright, and beautiful 16-year-old girl who was doing what any teenage kid does on any given night. She was driving fast and talking on the phone on a dark, rainy night. I covered Danny's accident for the paper, and it was less than a quarter of a mile from my house. And I was on scene when they loaded her into the ambulance. I then, over the next few days, watched hundreds upon hundreds of kids mourn her death. At funerals and vigils, I watched a field hockey field fill up with over 800 people carrying a candle in her memory. I can tell you that one sight alone, you imagine 800 people, pitch dark in the middle of the night, every single one of them holding a candle for one person. It's pretty sobering and humbling experience to witness that, to take photos of that. Now, how many here think her friends changed their choices and avoided more tragedy? Go ahead and raise your hand. How many think that they paid attention and did what they should? Nope, you messed up. Okay, we'll go back to the picture of Danny. So I messed up and I didn't have that on there. I had another news report that didn't get loaded up. You're going to see a kid in a hospital bed. His name's Trevor. Accident happened about 2-3 months ago. He was classmate of Danny. He had 4 or 5 other people in the car with him. They were all classmates of Danny. They were all drinking and driving, acting like most kids do, making bad choices, and he got ejected from the vehicle because he was trying to climb into the back of the truck when it was going 60 miles an hour. He's now suffering from a brain injury. He's still alive, he's lucky, but things are pretty bleak. But the thing I'm asking is, can you kind of see a pattern here? Anybody see what's going on here? No matter how many times we tell someone this can happen to you, you still kind of think, it's not going to happen to me. How many here, raise your hands, how many admit they would never in a million years think that would be me? That can't be me, this can't happen to me, right? I mean, we never thought I'm going to be the one that's going to die here on the driving night, right? Well, now we're going to go on a little bit further, and we're going to fast forward to Valentine's Day 2012. I was in the prime of my life, dream job, everything was going perfect. I'm crossing the street to cover a town meeting. I made sure the road was clear, and almost made it all the way across the road, and then this happens. A young woman who was speeding and talking on the phone, attention, slams into me with her car at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. As you can see, I was tossing the hood of the car into the windshields, onto the roof, and then onto the pavement like a rag doll. suffered a broken leg that required surgery. I'm bionic now. I've got a rod and screws in my leg. I broke my shoulder, my elbow, and I'm still suffering with a traumatic brain injury. All from someone else's choice, someone else's mistake. I lost a lot that day. I continue to suffer with loads of issues. I was very dependent before this accident. Now I rely on my family for just about everything. My brain injury has made it so I can't work. My dream job is gone. I can't care for my daughter like I want to. I lost friends because being social is almost impossible. Now, how many think this was enough to stop me from using my cell phone in the car? Raise your hand if you think this is it. This is the defining moment. I don't use my cell phone at all in the car. Okay, numbers are going up a little bit. You guys are starting to agree with me, but truth is, it didn't. Same pattern. I can tell you, if I leave my phone within reaching distance in the car and it chimes or it lights up, my instinct is to reach for it. Even with all this stuff going on, it is drilled in my brain. If that phone rings, you need to answer it. How many people are like that? If your phone rings, you go for it. No matter what. Yeah, everybody, like, ooh, it's ringing. Let's look at it. I like it. It sends me messages. It tells me people like me. It's become instinct for all of us. How many here know someone or have themselves been involved in some type of accident? Raise your hand and keep it up. Okay. How many people still text and drive or know someone who texts and drives or drinks and drives? Raise your other hand. Pretty scary pattern, don't you think, guys? Look around, all of you are holding your hands up. So it doesn't matter how many times we tell you a story, you guys are still doing this. Everybody is still doing this. So how do we break that pattern? How do we stop this from happening? What's some quick instant decisions we make every day to help keep us safe? Like, what's the first thing we usually do when we get into the car? Buckle our seatbelts, right? One of the very first things, something you've been taught since you were a kid, it's been drilled into your head, right? Reach for the thing, buckle your seatbelt. So there are definite choices we can do that we can make instinct to help keep us and others safe, right? What are some things we can do? Think about cell phones, think about setting the example, think about partying with drugs and alcohol. What are some things that we can do to make instinct? And I'm going to say this now, and I'm not saying drinking and alcohol is a good choice, because it's not. It's a bad choice. But I know there are some here who are going to, no matter what I say, no matter what the law says, no matter what stories you heard, you're going to drink, you're going to experiment with drugs. I think all of us can agree at some point in our lives as adults, when we were kids, we all did it too. So I think it's ignorant to say, don't do it, because I know you guys will. But what I'm saying is there are things you can do to keep yourself safe if you are going to do it. So if you're going to drink and drive where you can stay put. Or if you're not drink and drive, if you're going to drink where you can stay put. Or drink where you know you can call someone, not someone that's at the party. Don't bring a designated driver, because what happens if you bring a designated driver, I'm kind of okay with it with an adult because I kind of trust adults a little bit more, but even then I don't. You should be able to call someone who's at home who hasn't been drinking to come and get you. If you bring somebody to a party and there's alcohol, there's a good chance that person's going to want to drink and join it. As much as they've taken that pledge, I'm not going to drink this time. Guaranteed it might happen. I don't even like taking that choice. So there's things we can do. Cell phones. Shut them off. You're in the car. You can go. I mean, the most you guys would drive, I mean, you guys don't drive 3 hours every day in the car, do you? You go to school. It's what, 5, 10, 15-minute drive? You can't go that long with shutting it off. It's not that hard. And it's not blaming you. We can tell you don't text and drive. But if that phone's there, if it's saying, look at me,